12 noon here in Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I'm Kayode Okikelu. First, the highlights. The Labour Party reacts to the statement by the DSS and plots to foist an interim government on Nigeria. And the party spokesperson reported to have said Nigerians won't be intimidated into abandoning their legitimate legal right to seek judicial redress. Well, exactly 2 months to his planned inauguration, President-elect Bola Tinubu makes commitments to rebuild Nigeria, says his promises are not mere words. Plus, the runner-up in the Kano governorship election concedes defeat, pledges to work together with the governor-elect. However, his party may not be on the same page with him. Welcome to the show. The statement by the DSS saying it has identified some key players in a plot for an interim government in Nigeria continues to generate reactions. And the latest is from the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, Mr. Yabagi Sani, who is asking the Department of State Service to name and apprehend those it says are behind the plans. Mr. Sani said it is not enough for the DSS to announce a plot for interim government, but she'll go ahead to further name the plotters as well as take action against them. He also reacts into that statement as security expert and lawyer Bulama Bukati, who condemned the idea of an interim government and described it as illegal and unconstitutional. Mr. Bukati also called on Nigeria's international partners not to recognize any government that comes to power in Nigeria through unconstitutional means. They were guests on our political program, Politics Today. Well, we'll bring you their statement in a moment, but that's not all. The Labour Party is also reported to have responded to the statement from the DSS. The party's chief spokesperson, Mr. Yunusa Tanko, is quoted to have said Nigerians wouldn't be intimidated into abandoning their legitimate legal rights to seek judicial redress to reclaim their mandate, which was freely given to its presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi.
To use us for illegal or unconstitutional or violent processes or actions. We should understand that this is a criminal offense. Treason is a criminal offense, and if anyone tries to disrupt the inauguration through violent protests or through illegal injunctions, then they are declaring a war on Nigeria, and that is one of the most heinous crimes in the country. Our security and law enforcement agencies should continue to do their work professionally and within the bounds of the law, and must ensure that they keep law and order in our country and that no one is allowed to disrupt peace in our country for their selfish interests. Number four, it goes to the question of whether people who have grievances can call for interim government. As I said, interim government, or by whatever name it is called, is illegal, is unconstitutional, has no basis in law, and nobody in Nigeria has a right to institute that kind of government, and therefore we should stop that kind of illegal cause.
We don't want to lose this democracy at all. It was through our sweat and blood and everything that we got it. And like I said, the process is normal. What is happening is normal under democracy. We can contain it. That's why most political parties are not happy, are now before the courts. It is now up to the court to step up to the plate and save this democracy too, because all eyes are on the courts now, for them to really do what is necessary to bring that confidence, back into Nigerians, so that we will continue to exist as one great country, which Nigeria is.
Well, we are still expecting the Labour Party's spokesperson, Mr. Yunusa Tanko, to speak more on the Labour Party's reaction to the DSS statement, and we do hope to get him on the program, having given his word. But Let's head over to Delta State in the meantime. Delta State is one of the 28 states where governorship elections held on March the 18th, with contenders who were judged as strong and popular, from the ruling People's Democratic Party to the opposition All Progressives Congress and, of course, the Labour Party. But now that a winner has emerged and the certificate of return has been handed to him, the big question is, what's the job ahead and how do they intend to tackle it? Take a listen.
Delta State, one of the 28 states where governorship elections was held on March the 18th, with contenders from the ruling All Progressives Congress, the opposition the People's Democratic Party, and the fast-rising Labour Party, amongst others. An election described as peaceful, except for a few irregularities noticed, was keenly contested between the People's Democratic Party's Sheriff Oborevori beating his closest opponent and candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Deputy Senate President Ovie Omoagege, with over 120,000 votes.
Oborevori Sheriff Francis Orewedo, PDP, 360234. That's Oborevori Sheriff Francis Orewedo of the PDP, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
With the elections done and dusted, the people of Delta have high expectations on what the new administration should focus on, especially in the area of job creation to reduce unemployment, provision of critical infrastructure, and curbing the menace of youth restiveness.
It should focus more on infrastructure. And the challenges that the youth have today, they have not been given opportunity in the government in terms of one office or the other to hold a position, or at least they should give them voice and audience. And the government should be open to everybody in Delta State.
Governor-elect Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevori, he has been in the system for long, being a Speaker of the House for over 6 years plus now. I think he's been able to understand the state and we do more for Delta.
With a certificate of return issued to the governor-elect and the other 27 lawmaker-elects in the state by INEC, their jobs are now cut out for them to ensure a smooth takeoff of governance to complement the developmental strides of the outgoing administration.
And I believe strongly that I'm the youngest member of the House now. So I think that a whole lot depends on how well I do. Because as a young person, if I represent well, then I've also created a platform for young people to be put together. So I want to pay it forward. So when a young person like me represents well, I believe that there will be many more young persons coming after me.
In my more agenda, I've said that will be meaningful development. There will be opportunity for the youth, not just only the youth, for Deltans. And I want to be governor for all Deltans.
They made promises to always put the people first and improve on what is already on ground. Residents, however, await these promises to transform to reality.
Well, let's now bring you more on our lead story, who has since been joined by the chief spokesperson of the Labour Party, Mr. Yunusa Tanko, to shed more light on the Labour Party's reaction to the DSS statement about uncovering a plot to foist an interim government on Nigeria. He speaks to us live from Kaduna State this afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Tanko. Thank you for joining us on Lunchtime Politics.
Good afternoon, Kayode. Good afternoon, Nigerians.
Right, I know it's been, different twists and turns ever since the election in February, the presidential election, and even the state assembly election, and the state elections generally. But with this latest statement from the DSS, how did your party receive this statement, knowing fully well that the Labour Party was not explicitly mentioned by the DSS?
Well, for us, we feel it's a conspiracy against the state itself. Let me make myself clear. When we started about complaining of the incident and the level of violence that it is about to unfold during the election, we raised a red flag in Lagos. We were not allowed, members of the Labour Party were not allowed to start. We raised a red flag. Where was DSS at that time? When we went on the street to campaign, where our members were being maimed and being attacked, nobody spoke about those issues. where was the DSS at that time? When our member was killed in Colorado, and one of them raised alarm, where was the DSS at that time? When there were inflammatory statements being made by members of the media team from the APC, putting this democracy in danger, not thinking about the consequences of their actions, where was the DSS at that time? When MC Oluomo came out and made inflammatory statements saying that people of certain ethnic tribe should not come to Lagos or vote at a particular period of time, nobody said anything. In fact, it was alluded that the statement was a joke. Nobody invited him to DSS at that time. When the election was taking place, you saw how ballot boxes are being destroyed, how papers were being snatched. Nobody speak about it. Nobody said anything. Is it now that when the Nigerian people are speaking to defend the sovereignty of the country, to defend the integrity of the country, that is when the DSS is making statements? I think the DSS have not been able to do due diligence to the interest and protection of the Nigerian state, which is a primary constitutional position that was given to it ab initio. Unfortunately, the situation has not gone to this particular level that nobody is sure of what will happen in the next situation. So therefore, the idea of saying that probably some people are preparing to derail the system has already been derailed right in front of their eyes, and they didn't do anything about it. And so, for us, we are following the due provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Protest or demonstration is part of the democratic system. And it's right for us to defend our interests when we know that we have been hurting. What we are doing, if there was any issue of allegation whatsoever, we wouldn't have done it if it's contravened the position of the law. In fact, the DSS and the security apparatus should come out and defend and protect us, even if we have decided to go onto the street to protect our democratic system. But let me say this. We are ready to follow the rules, laws, and engagement in our democratic system. And that is the reason why we went to court, to follow the positions of the law and defend the interest and the sanctity of the vote. We are not making any inflammatory statement, or we are mobilizing anybody to come out on the street to fight. But we are saying that due diligence must be done to take care of the process of the election. And that is the reason why we went to court. And we will maintain that.
Right. Mr. Tanko, the second paragraph of that statement is talking about the planners in their meetings, weighing various options, talks about sponsoring endless violence, mass protests in major cities to warrant a declaration of state of emergency. Another is to obtain frivolous court judgments to forestall the inauguration of new executive administration and all. Can you say categorically that your party has not been involved in such things mentioned in that paragraph?
Not at all. We are never. I can assure you that we will.
Mr. Tanko, I think it's the internet connection, but I didn't get the first part of what you said. So please, can you take it again so Nigerians can get full value of what you're saying?
I said we are not going to back of any insurrection whatsoever. But what I am saying is that we will protect the interests of the Nigerian people based on the provisions of the law. And the law provides that where that you are hurting, you have the right to protest. And that you will do, but with the defense and protection of the Nigerian security apparatus. That is what we will do. But we will not support any insurrection in any way. That is not our calling, but we will protect the interests of the Nigerian people and the sanctity of the vote.
Right. I understand you're on the road, so thank you for actually joining us to discuss this matter. But I'd like you to respond to this, because there are concerns, really, about some of the utterances. You've raised some of those concerns, and the other side, too. And I recall that it was about a week ago that the campaign spokesperson of the APC, Mr. Festus Keyamo, wrote a petition to the DSS asking that they invite or arrest your presidential candidate and his vice. And, you know, people have made reference to this particular statement made by the vice presidential candidate of your party, saying, Mr. President, do not hold that inauguration. CJ and your lordship do not partake in unconstitutionality. Understand, knowing fully well that your party is in court right now. For some people, it sounded like you were being judge, jury, in your own case. So do you want to provide clarity to that so it's not misconstrued, perhaps?
What our vice presidential candidate did was just appeal to the Nigerian states for them to know the rules of engagement and the constitutionality in which we all swear to uphold, be it as a citizen or probably those who are in position of power. What he said was very, very clear. Do not swear somebody who has evaded the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It would only lead to anarchy. I give you an example. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria said if you are to contest election, you must present your primary school certificate. The candidate of the APC did not present that particular primary certificate. It also said that if you have been found to be a convicted felony, you cannot stand election in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That has also been established. That
Mr. Tanko, I think those points have been made time and again, and it's been said that these issues have been taken to court. The court has made decisions on them, and you are also in court on that one. So are you going ahead of the court? Just to be clear, would you wait for the court to make a pronouncement or not wait for the court? Because it sounds like...
Oh, definitely.
You would wait for the court? Is that what you're saying?
We would definitely wait for the court to make pronouncement. I am only clearing the air that where you said that probably the vice presidential candidate was probably incisive. No, he was not. He only made provisions, or he only made statements to regard to the issues that we have raised. And that is exactly what he has said. So we are not being a jury or convicting any person, but we only appeal to the judiciary to take cognizance of these particular provisions of the Constitution. And any attempt whatsoever to put those particular provisions aside will only lead to anarchy, and then you have no justification to arrest somebody who have just stolen a chicken in the village and say you are taking him to court, and then you prosecute him. That would not be fair.
Thank you so much for your time. Again, it's important that those messages come across in the right manner so supporters and people can understand your point, which is that you wait for the courts to make a decision such that we can have a peaceful society. Thank you so much. I see that you're on the move, so we appreciate your time on the program this morning. We've been speaking with Mr. Unisa Tanko, who is the chief spokesperson of the Labour Party. Thank you once again for your time. We're coming up next.
God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Amen to that. Well, coming up next on the program, we turn our attention to the Kano state election aftermath. Is there a disagreement between the APC candidate and the party on the way forward? Go to court or accept defeat? Those are major questions we'll get answers to in a moment. To join us again. Welcome back. In other stories now, the president-elect, Senator Bola Tinubu, has restated his commitment to rebuilding the country and renew the hope of Nigerians. The president-elect, in a statement on the occasion of his 71st birthday, incidentally, exactly 2 months to his planned inauguration, said the promises he made during his campaigns represent a bond that binds him to the task of creating a better Nigeria. And the statement reads in part, "With such a privilege already granted to me, I will not go so far as to suggest I am due any birthday present this year. I've already been given the greatest gift, a chance to lead and fulfill destiny." He maintains that the promises he made were not mere words, to win support, to work for a better Nigeria for the benefit of all. His message comes 1 week after he departed the country for a short rest in Europe before heading for Umrah in Saudi Arabia. Well, Let's head over to Kano State now. The All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in the just concluded election in the state, Nasiru Gawuna, has conceded defeat after INEC presented certificate of return to the winner, Abba Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, as governor-elect. In a 2-minute audio statement, Mr. Gawuna said, although they had requested a review of the election result by INEC, the commission found Abba Yusuf as winner of the election after the review, and as a good Muslim, he must accept the outcome of the election and work together with the government. In his words, I want to assure the people of Kano State that we will continue to work together with the government in power for the development and progress of the state. I wish Abba Kabir Yusuf good tenure and God's guidance as he assumes the mantle of leadership of our great state. But there are questions as to whether his party, the APC in Kano State, is on the same page with him on this concession and accepting the candidate of the NNPP, now governor-elect, as a winner of that governorship election. So for more on this, we're joined on the program by the APC legal advisor in Kano State, Mr. Abdullahi Fage, joins us, of course, from Kano State. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. All right, I'll just get right into it. And just to be clear, let's begin from this one. Is the party, that's the APC in Kano State, are you challenging this victory in court? Let's lay that bare to begin with.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sean. Good afternoon, gentlemen. And
well, it's Coyote, actually. Oh, please go ahead.
Sorry, because I can't see you. That's right. Good afternoon all. Thank you very much.
So tell us, good afternoon, is the APC challenging that victory in court? We've just heard from your candidate saying, well, I'm good, I've considered defeat as a Muslim, and I'm going to work together with the NNPP governor-elect. What's the position of the party?
Well, thank you very much. You know, the position of the All Progressives Congress, APC Kano chapter is clear in the sense that, you know, whenever an election is conducted and at the end of the day a declaration is made and a winner is returned, there are two contending parties, particularly the candidate and the political party that sponsored that candidate, that can either be agreed with the declaration or return or otherwise. For the party, as you put the further, of course, the APC will challenge this declaration or return in the election petition tribunal, God willing.
So why the divergent views then? Because you expect that the party will speak with one voice. By the way, the party, which also means the candidate of the party. In any case, it's the party that is on the ballot, but the candidate, the personality, if he wins, becomes, governor. So why the divergent views? Is the APC in Kano State divided?
No, there is no divergent view. I have to correct that saying which you just put, that why divergent view, because I can't see any divergent view, because APC, All Progressives Congress as a party, is quite different from the candidate, and I know you know that. So there is no any view proffered by the party. From the day when the declaration or return were made, up to today, I know of no statement made by the party that the APC is not challenging the victory of the NNPP. I'm not aware of that. So there is no divergent view. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think this is a new angle to it, because we've always known that the candidate and the party are one. I mean, we saw you campaigning across the state. The candidate did not campaign one place and the party campaigned in another place. You actually went together. In fact, it's called the flag bearer of the party, except, of course, he has left the party. Is he still a member of your party?
He's still a member of the party, and he has never said he's not going to challenge the victory in court. He has never said that. That's number one. And number two, when I said there are two different things, you know, legally, political party is a body established by law, imbued with power to sue and be sued. So also the candidate, as a person, he has every right to challenge an action or not to challenge. So that's the point, but he's still a member of the party. And as you said, we went around the Kano state campaigning as a flag bearer. Of course, yes, he was a flag bearer of the APC. And when APC as a party is challenging the victory, it's entirely different from the insinuation that the candidate is not challenging, even though, as I said, there is nowhere the candidate made that kind of statement that he is not challenging.
Well, let me give you...
You congratulated... Okay.
Right, pardon me, just as we wind down on this one, so our viewers don't get confused. Some part of the audio message, I imagine you've listened to that audio message, 2 minutes, was that he said that as a good Muslim, I must accept the outcome, whether in my favor or not. And then he went on to wish the governor-elect a good tenure, God's guidance, and says that he wants to assure the people of Kano that he will continue to work together with the government for the development of the state. But take a look at where he said he must accept the outcome, whether it favors him or not. So yes, it says he has accepted it. Going to court means he's challenging it, or at least the party is challenging it. So there are divergent views, Mr. Fagi. I mean, it's plain English here.
Quite, I appreciate that saying. But one point, you know, candidate is sponsored by the political party. And the mandate is that of all the electorate and the supporters of the party. This about 900,000 votes cast in favor of APC is for that mandate.
All right.
The All Progressive Congress saying that is going to challenge the mandate given to our party by the electorate.
Right.
And the fact that you wish the person that has been declared winner well, even myself, I wish him well. We owe a duty to wish any person that is declared a winner well.
Okay. Mr. Fage,
cannot bar a political party.
All right, I take your word.
The victory.
So we have to run now, but clearly, Fage, who is the APC legal advisor in Kano State, we'd like to thank you again for your time on Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you very much. And you know, showing, even though we are done with the issue, you know, even by Section 133 of the Electoral Act, the candidate or the party can challenge the victory.
All right, Mr. Fagin, we have to run now. We're totally out of time. Thank you so much. Well, that's been the show for today. Don't forget, you can always follow all the political stories and much more on our website, channelcv.com, and across all social media platforms. Now that you've been served, I'm Kayode Kikelu. We're back again later for dinner on Politics Today. Goodbye.